And maybe that disconnect is the reason that you're gone. I mean, the fact that everybody was upset, the Boston faithful was upset at Kyrie for stepping on Lucky. Who gives a damn about Lucky? Now, Kyrie, is what you did disrespectful and fanning flames? Absolutely. But is it something to lose sleep over? Absolutely not. If TT, if Tatum, who I know neither one of them would do anything, if Marcus Smart, Peyton Pritchard, Time Lord, any of those people on the Celtics wanted to do something about it, I have no issue with it. The kid throwing bottles, disrespectful. Go to jail where you belong. You criminal. No one needs that in this game. I understand that these are athletes and you look at them as gladiators and entertainers, but they're people. They have hearts. They have parents. They have kids. They have wives. They have girlfriends. And guess what, man? They breathe and put their pants on just like me and you. Just because they make a little bit more money, a lot more money than us, they have a lot more fame than us. They are better at what they do than we are. I mean, maybe y'all, they're not better at what they're doing than I am at what I'm doing. That's just me and my ego. Doesn't mean that they are an object. They are people. And the problem with a lot of this is that it's not only the fans who are treating these athletes like they're objects, it's also the sports media. The media doesn't cover them as if they're people with hearts and souls and minds. It's like, you're a great athlete. You shouldn't be affected by this. What? I'm not supposed to have feelings? My feelings aren't supposed to get hurt? Well, I mean, why would you care what somebody who lives in their mom's basement says about you? Well, what if they don't live in their mom's basement? And what does them living in their mom's basement have to do about their thoughts and their words about me saying, like, hey, they say sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And that's a lie. Words hurt. We've all been hurt by words. Even words by those who we don't know, they hurt. Because maybe they hit one of our insecurities. Because we all have insecurities. That's a thing. Maybe it hits one of our insecurities. And just because you have a certain amount of money, a certain amount of fame, a certain amount of success does not mean you can't be affected by things that are said about you. Especially if you're hearing more bad than good. Because people who don't know you, people who can't touch you, people who can't reach you will do anything they can just to get your attention. And it's much easier to get someone's attention with with bad than good. Hell, I had a social media incident where I got someone's attention with bad. And then I followed up with good later saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. You know what? That bad moment opened my eyes to some things. Thank you. That good was never received. Why? Because, pain hurts more than pleasure feels good. Let me say that again. Pain hurts more than pleasure feels good. And I think that's what a lot of us experience, and that's what a lot of these athletes go through. So when you're talking to Ja's parents crazy, when you're throwing things on the court, when you're dropping popcorn, it's like, hey, bro, now I remember that. And I know this stadium was just rooting me on, but I feel that. And that's what we have to do. We have to start humanizing our athletes more. We have to understand that, like, hey, man, we have to talk about them in a way in which we were talking to them, not just about them, as if we're talking to them. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm 100% perfect in some of my criticisms of people and athletes, because sometimes I come off harsh and critical. But I try not to personalize things. I try to keep it to what I'm observing and not make it about the person. I make it about the instance. Because I tell people all the time, I will point out flaws in my friends. I can call my friend a sorry lying SOB, but I love him. It doesn't change how I feel about him. It's just that I'm pointing out this thing about his character or her character, But we have to be more sensitive to the needs of others, even though we may not like where society is going, where society is telling us to, oh, you got to care about people's feelings. I can go, do I have to? And maybe I don't want to. But an interesting thing was Joe Budden was talking to Cat Williams, and they started talking about cancel culture and about how some comedians are complaining about how much harder it is to operate in this cancel culture society. And Cat is like, well, if you can't adjust, then this isn't for you. And that's how I look at us in the media talking about whatever we're talking about, whether it's opinions, whether it's actual reporting. Like, we're not in a place where you can just bash somebody in a column that, they may not read, or if they do read, they never see your face. We're now in a place to where I can tell Kevin Durant exactly how I feel about him right now because I can DM him. I can mention him. I can comment on his picture. I can get to you in a place that where you may see it. Whereas it was a lot of shots in the dark. And now that that stuff is being seen and more people are taking it in, man, it hurts feelings. And if somebody came to your job and ridiculed and criticized everything that you did, it would hurt your feelings too, no matter how much money you make.